Okay, so just following on from the other video, I discarded the apple from the container and I kept the juice. So I had 115 grams of juice. Just for convenience sake, I kept 50 grams of liquid. And to that 50 grams, I added 50 grams of flour. And I mixed it together. So this is after the 48 hours after the initial video on how to make your starter. I extracted the liquid. As I said, I had 50 grams, I added 50 grams of flour, I mixed that. So here we are again 24 hours later. So 3 days later. And I don't know if you can see that, but you know, it's quite active there now, even 3 days after. You see a lot of activity, a lot of bubbles and stuff. So it's handy if you know the weight of your container just for the scales, so you know exactly what to discard and what to add into your next mix. So this container, this specific container, weighs 420 grams, give or take a gram or two. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to discard all but 50 grams again. Okay, so just take that out as best you can. Again, like this is my first container that I've ever used to make a starter, so that's why I have it now, but it's not the easiest to. So make sure your container that you use, make sure it's really easy to take your starter in and out. No stress. Okay, so there we are, 450 grams almost exactly. So to that then, 50 grams of flour and 50 grams of water. So you have 50 grams of seed starter, 50 grams of flour, 50 grams of water. Leave that for a further 24 hours and then repeat that process for another 2 days. So in total you have 5 days, and after 3 days you've seen there was a lot of activity there, so another 5 days you should be really good to go. And just as a way of measuring, obviously you would measure the level after you've mixed your starter, after you've refreshed, you would mark the level at which it's at. And then once it's doubled, you know it's good to use. As well as seeing all the activity, all the bubbles, you would know it's good to use at that stage. So that's how to make your starter. If you're not going to make bread every day, you would keep that in the fridge. Be fine. 2 weeks it would be fine. It collects a little bit of hooch, a little bit of liquid. It starts to smell a little bit more acidic, but again, you refresh that, you give it 12 hours out at room temperature, and then you're good to go the next day to make your bread to start going again. Any more than 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month more, you would probably have to refresh twice. Just to make sure that your starter is nice and strong. But again, if you're making bread, you're going to be checking the level. You're going to be marking the level of your dough when it gets into the container at bulk stage, when it's sitting there fermenting, so that you're not going to touch it until it gets at least 60% increase in volume. You're not going to start shaping it until it gets to that stage. So even if your starter is really weak, it will still make bread for you once you measure the level of which your dough is at in the container in the bulk ferment stage. So I hope that answers, or I hope that demystifies some questions or some notions people might have in making bread. So stay tuned for the next video.